you know, a little bit
I know,
later.
it throws me off.
Yeah, same. It's going to be really
Hi,
weird.
Candy.
3 hours difference.
Yeah.
It'll be 9:30 for me. Oh, man, I'm not going to be able to make those.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello.
This one actually let us sit in here for a minute.
Yeah, I changed the link because the last one started not letting me record it just randomly. And so I couldn't get the last two even backdated, like recorded. And also I wanted y'all to be able to get on before me. And so I just set up a whole new link.
Oh, that's good. I like it.
Okay, before we start, something really important. Okay, I know a lot of you like coffee like me, but this is so cool. I think I've got it for $6 on Amazon, and I think it's just called like a milk frother, but it's like, I just did coffee, so it's gonna go everywhere. But like, you can just see, like, it's just this tiny little bit, and it's not it's cordless, so it's just run by a little battery, and it makes like the most perfect frothy like creamer. It's magical.
That is so cool.
It's magical. It feels like you're like, you know, like you've got something at a fancy coffee place.
Look, we've got a bath bomb tonight.
Oh, honeymoon hideaway? Is it blue?
It's half of jammy time. I started splitting theirs in half.
Who do we got on? Violet, Katie, Ashley, Bianca. Hey, Bianca. Iris, Miss Fallon, Sabrina, Sierra. Am I missing any pages? How are y'all? I didn't get to see you really last week on Zoom. Everybody good? How you, Fallon?
Good. Just, I was showing everybody before you popped on. This is our room of what's being packed in our van. It's chaos.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it yet.
I mean, it's reality for me, so I have to talk about it.
It's so funny. You're doing such a good job handling it. Everyone at every other Facebook post of mine are like, oh my God. Look at what we're doing. You're doing
I internalize, and that's probably not a great thing.
You're what?
Said I internalize, so it's probably not a great thing that you don't see it about me, but
Which is why I'm making her go to coffee with me tomorrow, so she can just spill and vent. And
it's mainly the cleaning. Like, it's having to manage moving everything from one room to the next to clean it so that it's ready for the renters next month. And it's like,
I think I've told y'all before, but when we moved to Korea, we had like 7 different piles of things that you pack. So I had like 7 colors of sticky notes on things that could get there in 3 months by boat, things that would get there in a month by air, things that I needed there immediately, things that I needed for the next month while we're traveling before we leave, and the things that we need, like an overnight bag.
remind me not to live or to move or, live there ever, hopefully.
That was crazy.
John will never, ever.
We sent my car 3 months ahead of time. Because it takes forever by boat to get there.
Yeah, Sean. I couldn't see anybody. Sean's new unit is basically volunteer only for deployments, so most likely he will not have to deploy. Fingers crossed.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're doing it again right now. Like, I'm just to be super real and honest, I had 3 complete breakdowns today. Like, in my car, bawling with my mom. Like, I can't believe we are doing another deployment, and it's so hard. Like, we kind of have to put our best foot forward, especially in this business on social media. But man, and I think this time is so much harder for me because I've got older kids that are in activities. So it's like, we're literally going from this thing, and then the planning and like brain capacity to like make those things happen is crazy. Like yesterday we had karate at 5:30 and scouts at 6:30 to 8. So I had to plan from 5 to 8:15 electronics and food and, you know, things to keep Scarlett happy and two like long meetings. And it's just,
his last deployment, Scarlett was in the hospital, right? And that's when he came back?
no, we've had one between that one too. Like, we've had 4 deployments in 4 years. I'm just exhausted, honestly. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I would be too.
So for y'all that don't know, while Owen was, and he was on a deployment before that too. Owen was on a deployment while I was pregnant with Scarlett. And then he got to come home for the week because I had a C-section. We had her, and he went back when she was 6 days old. And then when she was 4 weeks old, she got that RSV virus. She nearly didn't make it. She was in the ICU for 19 days. And, you know, at some point between there, the doctors were like, it's not looking good. Red Cross, get him home. So the Red Cross sent him home. And he only had about a month left at that point. So they said, you don't have to come back. And the text as Owen's leaving the hospital to his commander that said, hey, we're leaving the hospital. He replied back and was like, oh, you're going on a TDY next week. Like, we were in quarantine. Scarlett couldn't leave the house for 30 days at our house. and then about whatever the very minimum time is, after that, he got sent on another deployment when she was whatever, 3 months old or something. And that's when I had to do the Scentsy Disney trip. I had to do the last day of the trip by myself. Don't do that. That was literally the single hardest day of my entire life. 2 Disney parks, torrential rain, a baby, an infant, not 6 months, and the boys. So anyway,
you're like super mom.
And then he's been on another deployment since then. And then he just got back in time for us to move here. And then now he just left again. So I'm just exhausted. And I can't go on the Mediterranean cruise because of it. So maybe that's where really what I'm mad about.
Little bit of bitterness is all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
I just did some planning. Like, I actually sat down and looked at excursions, and I've officially picked all of my excursions for the cruise.
Dang, it's so sad. I'm so sad. I thought it was like meet you in Spain this whole time.
I know.
So sad. I am gonna attempt this Zoom again. Give me 1 second. Somebody else tell another story real fast. Fallon, pick somebody to go next. How is somebody else's life going?
Let me see. Iris, how you doing? She goes, oh God, not me. I see it in her face.
Iris, you've posted some really good stuff lately. Like, your business is going really well. What do you think is different right now?
Absolutely nothing, because it's like an every other month thing. Is like 1 month I'm like superstar and I'm like woo woo $1,000 PRV, and then the next month it's like only 300, and I'm like, oh well, I guess at least I'm consistent being every other month, right? But I don't know. I think actually in all reality it's me trying to divert my attention from what's actually going on and just throwing myself into Scentsy, which works out well.
Yeah. How are you enjoying Leap to Lead?
I actually didn't start that because I was on vacation.
Yeah.
We had spring break already, before everyone else did, but so we went to go visit my grandma, and we went camping, and where I'm from, there's no reception. It doesn't matter who your cell phone provider is, it's literally the middle of nowhere. So, Annabelle, don't play with that, please. So I knew that half the time I wasn't going to have reception, so I couldn't really actively do it. But I've been watching everybody else's videos, and
Yeah.
Annabelle back here likes to work for Scentsy. Do you want to say hi? Hi. Come here. They can't see you.
Well, it's going so well. I think. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. She looks like Scarlett. She just reminds me of Scarlett because she's cute and little. That's lead is going really well. So I think we're gonna like continuously do that. I don't know how much time in between each one, but we're gonna continuously do that. Okay. So before we get started, who all got the Johnny Appleseed and Appreciation Warmer?
I did.
Has anybody not seen it? I haven't even opened mine.
I haven't opened mine, but I got it because I figured it was perfect for my thank you for Ryan's teacher this year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I meant to
I got mine
off actually, but I guess my teacher is going to get it for. Oh, it's a little bit more maroon than in my light it looks like red. It's not that red.
I also posted in my VIP group for anyone who might have a favorite doctor, because sometimes we have doctors that we give a doctor
Apple a day. You're a genius.
Yeah.
I love that. I did not even. Did you see me going like? Huh? I like to watch that replay back of me going like, I don't know what you're talking about right now. That's super smart. Oh, it's so cute and tiny.
Okay.
I feel like, does it have to?
Hey, Candy.
Oh, it does.
Does it have a stem
Yeah,
that goes on the top?
That's a good thing to know. Looks like it might have got lost in the packaging.
Because I'm like, does it have a stem or?
Yep. Okay. So that's good to know when customers get that. It's like wrapped down at the bottom, and I had just tossed it to the side. It's cute. So it's just.
I haven't opened mine yet either.
A wing nut. Is that what that's called?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, we gotta have some mechanically inclined girls in here. I think it's a wing.
Careful with the leaf, girls.
It'll break.
Yes. I had to get mine exchanged already.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I can see that.
got
It's metal, but it's like barely holding on in that. Like
Barely soldered. Yes.
yeah, it's really delicate. That's good. Cute. Okay, so there's apple. And you know what? The Johnny Appleseed scent is my favorite apple scent we've ever had. It's really good.
I sold out, Candy. I did a event this weekend, and I sold out of all my Johnny seed this weekend.
I was going to ask how that event went. That's awesome. It's
All right.
It's also really fragrant. So if somebody's looking for something that's highly fragrant, and it seems like it has a very fast scent too. Like and almost immediately you can start smelling it. But I love it. It's a good one.
And a hint of pear. It has a hint of pear to it too. That's I think what keeps that scent.
Really?
Yeah.
The description say on it. Does it say anything besides?
Yep.
Oh
Read
yeah.
it. It has a pear on it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love it. All right.
I'm turning off video, girls. I'm getting ready to start driving. I'm going to turn off video, and I'm just going to listen.
Okay. I think a lot of you that are on this call have done a fundraiser maybe. So maybe Violet not. Okay, who hasn't done a fundraiser? Iris?
I'm doing it now, but I've never one.
I did one.
Iris, Katie, have you?
I haven't.
Yeah, I did. I did a Beagle fundraiser that was actually really successful.
Ooh, I may have you chime in if you don't mind in a minute with some other ideas. So Sierra, you need to do one still. Violet, Fallon, Ashley, you're still pretty new.
I did one. It was the St. Jude fundraiser.
Oh right, I remember that.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at you getting in there. So many people are afraid of them. What I wanted to just go through really quickly, I don't have anything epic to share with you, but I know so many people are just scared of fundraisers, don't really understand fundraisers, or really just don't want to admit that they don't know what to do with a fundraiser, and so they've just never done one. And you know, if you are a seasoned vet and you've done a fundraiser, I think it's still good to have this refresher as a reminder to our teams. Like, this is a great time of year to start to start looking and asking around, because people need end of the year stuff, especially for schools. So, you know, there's all kinds of things. There's people who need camp money. Camp money is a really big thing with schools right now. Anybody that wants to do summer camps for themselves or for an organization, any like summer or senior trips, any daycares, any of those organizations, this is the time of year that they're running, that they usually end their fiscal year, so they're kind of running out of their budget. And so it's a really perfect time of the year to start asking about fundraisers. And I wanted to just show you how I'm doing mine really economically, because I am doing a fundraiser for 250 kids. So when you start putting together 250 of anything, it starts to add up. So I just wanted to show you how I'm doing it really simply, and the incentives and everything I'm doing. So first of all, let's take it back to basics. A fundraiser is basically a reverse party, okay? So they're hosting the party just like normal, except for you're getting the hostess rewards and they're getting the commission. You pay them the commission that you earn off of their party, their fundraiser, the next month after their fundraiser is done on the 10th when you get paid. So you're not ever obligated to, you know, pay anything out of your pocket. When Scentsy pays you, then you just cut a personal check. Scentsy doesn't do anything special. Scentsy doesn't do anything, you don't have to do anything different with Scentsy. You just make your commission as always, and then you cut that check or a cashier's check or whatever it is that you want to do. You can do, on percentage wise, you can do whatever you want to do. So some people will do 25%, their full commission. Some people elect to do 20% because they use that 5% commission to pay for all of the supplies. Some people will do 20% or even 15% if they're just an essential and they only make 20%. So that is completely up to you. I like to maximize that. So I do 25% and then make up that money in some other ways that I'll talk about in a minute. For this fundraiser, does that make sense to read? That part is
So
easy.
can I chime in real quick, Candy?
Yeah.
So some organizations, I learned this with mine because I went through 3 organizations before I picked Bridget's Cradles. Some organizations, they will have a contract for you to sign with them. And like Bridget's Cradles required 60% of my commission. That's like, in order to run a fundraiser for them, they ask for 60% of whatever's made. And so that's like when I contacted Scentsy customer support, when I did it on how to get started and how to go about it, that's the one thing they told me is to contact the organization before you announce it, and then get your ducks in a row, because some people do require more than other organizations. So I didn't know if you had known that or not. So that's just because I didn't know some places could actually do that, but they make their own rules.
So they want 60% of your commission, right?
Yeah,
So
I did 100%. I did 100% of my commission, but they wanted that 60%.
I thought you were saying 60% of the product.
No, 60% of the commission.
Okay,
that's why I had to double check that.
Whoa.
Sorry, I am like cramping really, really bad today, so my mind's kind of just like off the mall all in.
That does bring up another point, though. So if we'll talk about for just a minute on, people how you go about getting a fundraiser. But if you decide, hey, I want to do a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, you can't just say one day, like, hey, announcing American Cancer Society, you are utilizing their name, so you have to have permission. It would be the same as if you said, the American Cancer Society tells you to buy with candy.us. It's the same thing. You're using their name to advertise your brand, your organization, your website. You have to have any kind of national organization like that. You have to have it approved with them before you advertise in any fashion. And then most of them are really super strict about posting on any of their pages or any of those things. And any coordinator that you have will most likely rule of that, but just so you know, to ask those questions beforehand, like what can you do? Because if you decide, okay, I'm going to go in there with a Facebook thing and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, they may not let you do any of those things. So it's best to sort of write down a plan of action before you even start so that you can run those things by the coordinator. And that brings me to the next point, is your coordinator. So whoever is your point of contact, they will literally make or break your entire fundraiser. It's just like the hostess of a party. If they don't tell anybody about it, if they don't care much about it, if they don't have any good reason to do it, like, it's going to flop. And it's the exact same thing with the fundraiser. And so Ariella was just talking about how some fundraisers can be a flop, and and a lot of times, most of the time, it comes down to that coordinator. And even when you don't know, and Ariel, you're welcome to chime in on that for a second, since you popped on just at the right time. For experience wise, just some things that we should look out for or know.
The involvement of the organization. So even if the coordinator is really gung-ho, getting in front of the organization itself is probably a better indicator, and making sure they understand the scope of it, but then also understanding the demographics of the area and the organization, because that changed a lot of things. And even though I went to the extent of having one of my friends translate everything to Spanish, I didn't understand the demographics of bath time of they're not bathing themselves, by the way. Donnie is home. That would be a disaster. Just understanding the demographics and making sure everybody's on the same page. And so it was a school, and the PTA president, or PTO, whatever it's called, she was really excited about it, and apparently the whole PTA was on board. And then we went to the school. I had all of the packets ready. I had already spent all of the time doing it. And we're getting ready to distribute the packets into the teachers' boxes. And one of the teachers came in, and we were like, hey, so are you excited for this fundraiser, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what fundraiser? So they didn't communicate with the school either. So that was just like and I had a sinking feeling, but I persevered to a failing fundraiser. So anyway,
How many was that again?
Oh, it was like 700, 500. It was well over 500.
So many.
So learn from my mistakes, please.
We're still
Here's my friends.
hearing to that. Yes. So thanks for that great example. I have had several fundraisers that failed as well, and you're going to. So don't think that just makes you, because you'll go on that fundraiser page and you'll see people like, oh my gosh, here's my $8,000 worth of boxes that just came in, like, oh, and you're just like, I suck. You don't, like, sometimes, once you get in with a good fundraiser and you stick with it, then you can have these amazing fundraisers that build and build to those huge numbers like that. But it just takes a little bit. And just like for our business, it takes a good why. It takes a good why for them too. If they don't have any idea what they're going to spend the money on, then why would they do it? Plus, you've got to have incentives. You've got to put yourself in the place of whoever it is. And for, she was Ariel was talking about demographic, you have to think about the demographic of who is actually you're giving these packets to. So if you're giving the packets to preschoolers, that's a lot different than if you're giving packets to a high schooler. Because if you're giving packets to preschoolers like me, then I know that I'm actually giving a packet to the moms. The moms are doing my selling. So that's who I'm talking to. So that's what the incentives are going to be around. And that's what the whole thing is going to be sort of centered around. If I was doing it for a high school student, the incentives would be completely different. And the whole thing would be completely different. The whole process. I would get in front of them. Like, you know, I'm not going to get in front of some like preschoolers, right? Like, go tell your mom to buy Scentsy. You know what I mean? And so you have to know who it is that's actually selling. Okay, so I'm going to just show you what I'm doing for $250 just to keep it on budget. So this time, manila envelopes are really expensive. And so this time instead, for some crazy reason, they're insane. This time I'm doing these 6x8 envelopes that like your catalog can fit into. And that's great because it's also clear. And so they can see the pretty stuff inside. So showcase brochure. The showcase brochures are made for fundraisers. One of the main reasons, if you don't know, is it does not have any of the combine and saves. That means that you can make more money for the organization. You can elect to combine people's orders and make more money. The negative of that is that you don't have a record of what Susie Q from this fundraiser actually bought because you combined all the orders. So I try not to ever do that, but it's an option where you can make more money off of doing that. So the showcase brochure is nice because it gives them a few less options. It's like there's just a couple of pages to turn to, and it also has the list, the full scent descriptions, which is a really good bonus. So I'm going to put that in my clear envelope where this is showing. I'm also including a drawing slip. That way I can, just like in an event where I want to gather people's information, I can gather information and also can see if anybody clicks these little magical boxes down here that say that they're interested in hosting or a fundraiser or joining. And so I'm going to include that in there. And I'll have an extra drawing for that. And then it's a lot of them, but I'm going to include a business card and sample in every single one. And so how I do mine, every business card comes with a sample. Any business card I've ever given does. So I've got the larger size bags that the business card goes into. And then I have the small bags that, this is the bomb, but I do bombs or whiffs, and then just put that inside. And I'll just have a big kind of variety in there that I'm going to be giving everybody. So everybody will also get one of those. And then it's not printed yet, but, oh, let me show you one more thing. And then this is a little trick. Instead of using the order forms from like the Scentsy Family Store, because that can get expensive and you don't need like 6 copies of that order form, what you can do is take 4 order forms on a piece of paper like this, tape them side by side, and then go and have them printed off, just black and white copies, and then just fold it in half. And that way they have 4 order forms on one piece of paper that just slips in there. And if you want to do 2, I'm going to do 2 in each of mine because I'm giving some good incentives for bigger dollar amounts. So I'm going to put 2 pieces of paper in each of those. And just fold them just like this. And then I don't have it printed off yet, but I am finishing designing this one sheet that'll look like this, that will go inside. And it's basically my flyer that's going to give all the information that I want them to know. So I have it written out. Have it designed out. So it's going to have on the top the student name, their classroom, parent name, parent email, and phone number. It'll have like a due date on top, the exact due date. And then I'm going to have the incentives right up front. And the incentives will, I'll go through the incentives in a minute. But I'll have the incentives right up front. And then I'm going to have these little, I'm going to have like these little call outs. So this will be like in black with like white. So it's like, it calls out, but it'll say mom quiz like to the back. So it makes them like want to turn over. And then, so the whole front is the incentives. And then the back, I have this little mom quiz that I'm trying to finalize right now, but it's basically just a funny quiz that does two things. One is, you know, anytime that we entertain somebody, anytime that we make somebody laugh, we engage them right away. So I'm going to try to make them laugh with this quiz. And it's a Mother's Day Out program, so it's all moms. And so I know exactly who the demographic is because I'm the demographic. And then the incentives that I'm doing, I'll tell you about that in a minute, but the incentives I'm doing are also geared towards moms because they include gift cards to Target, Starbucks, Amazon, Chick-fil-A, like all the mom places, right? And so I'll kind of like be cheeky about that too. And then the other thing that serves is that I will give them suggested bundles for whatever their quiz says. So if their quiz says that they're mostly A's or they're mostly B's, mostly C's, then I can put some bundles in front of them so that it makes it really easy for people to shop. So if, like me, they get to school, they realize that it was due today, they could just like literally just write down that they want A and just be done with it. And when they're sharing it with grandparents or whatever, they can just say, you know, yeah, I want this. It's kind of the psychology of it. I don't know if you know, but a lot of times when you go to fast food restaurants, the combos cost more than if you were to order them individually. And people, even if people know that, I don't care. I still just want to say A or, you know, combo number 1. And it's the same thing. People just want E's. So I'm going to make those combos. And then they're going to be fun combos that are named fun things. I wish I knew what those fun things were, but I'm still working on it. But crazy hot mess warmer is going to be in there, obviously. Bath bombs are going to be in there, obviously. Those kind of things. And then I am going to have, and then I will also have the information on there about this is where the checks, this is how you make out the checks. This is how long it's going to take to get in your order. And let's see, there's some other stuff on there I think I have to have. But also on if you ever do this order form and you try to do something different, just know that this warranty information has to go on there. I think it's law in some states. I need to double check in Oklahoma actually, that the warranty information has to be there somewhere, visible somewhere. So I may have to do those order forms back and front, but I think that is different by state. So you might just have to check that in your state. The incentives that I'm doing, they sound really big, but they will all be paid for because the biggest way is I will buy product that people ordered with my half offs. And I will maximize the half offs by just submitting 500 PRV orders because that's how you get the most half offs. 500 PRV orders gets me 4 half off items. 1,000 PRV order gets me 4 half off items, right? So if I do 2 500 parties versus 1,000 party, then I double my half offs. And that way, if people order, you know, I can get their things for half off and I just made a cool, like what, $200? And I can use that 200 to pay for these incentives. And a lot of times external incentives that aren't Scentsy because you're wanting them to buy Scentsy can be more of an incentive than Scentsy itself. Plus, it's really hard to just figure out like exactly what warmer somebody would want or and to coordinate all of that. So gift cards are really nice because they're small. You can easily add them with, you know, clip them onto order form whenever you're delivering their order. They're easy to get and obtain, and people love gift cards. So gift cards are great. So what I'm doing is if you sell any order up to $99, you get a free scent circle. So you get something, consolation prize if you sell anything at all. And when I say dollars, I'm talking PRV too, Brenda. I see you. So when you sell 100, you get your choice of one $10 gift card. So again, those $10 gift cards are Target, Amazon, Starbucks, and Chick-fil-A. All the mom places. And then if you have 200 in sales, you get 2 of those, 2 $10 gift cards. If you do 300, you get 3 of those plus a mini warmer or a buddy clip. Because this is little kids, they might like those buddy clips. And so mom can decide if she wants the or to be the mini warmer for herself or if she wants to get them the clip. And then 4 and 5 is the same. 4 gift cards, 5 gift cards, and a mini or a clip they can choose from. And then I'll make sure that it's total before tax and shipping as well. It's not after tax and shipping. And then I will do instead of top prizes for the top sellers, because a lot of times when people see the top 3 sellers get whatever, a lot of times you're just like, yeah, I'm not that mom. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not that mom. So you don't even not try. Like, you just kind of even toss it to the side. Like, you're not even going to get one order, right? So instead, it's really nice to do these sort of tiered. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're guaranteed something if you sell these amounts. It's not just the top people. It's just like our incentive trips. Like, if you knew always that it was just the top 100, like, who would try? Who would push for it, right? The same 100 people that always push for it or whatever. And so it's the same thing. You're guaranteed to go on the trip or guaranteed to get something if you do it. And then I also have, because I need to incentivize the teachers for the classrooms. So top class gets a pizza party that includes the juice and the cookies. Pizza's so dang cheap. Like, I mean, I can get out of that for $50. That's super cheap and people love it. And then the teachers for each of those classes, or for the class that wins, there's 3 teachers, will get a spa bundle plus their choice of one of the gift cards as well. Again, I'm paying for all of that with either combining those orders into Combine and Save or utilizing all of the half-offs so that I can make that money to be able to pour into these incentives. What else? I think that's it. Any questions or any big gaping hole that I missed?
What did you say that the top sellers would get? I missed that.
I'm not doing a top sellers. Instead, I'm doing if you sell 100, if you sell a 200,
okay,
a guaranteed thing versus like a top sellers thing.
Gotcha.
So how do you decide to do a full catalog versus like a buddy clip or a scent circle? Because I tried doing a few fundraisers and I've asked a few different organizations in my area, although we live in a tiny area, and so people aren't necessarily very forthcoming, but I also feel like maybe I'm like overwhelming them or something, and so I'm trying to figure out other ways to approach people and like actually get fundraisers going, because I feel like once I can get one group or organization in my tiny town to be like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds great, and like we actively do it, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world is going to be on board in this tiny town.
I think 2 things on that. I think one is it's all in the approach. If you approach it like, hey, will you do a fundraiser for me? Like, it'll be great. Like, I'm going to give you all this money, instead of like, hey, I would really love to give back to your organization. I really think that this could happen with this money, or this could happen. I'd really love to help you do that. I'd be willing to give you 100% of my commission. And whatever it is that you want to say. So I think the approach is really big there. I think that you can always utilize your Scentsy sisters and brothers in that situation too. You can always share and say things like, gosh, this person, my teammate or my friend or whatever, they just had a fundraiser for an organization and they raise this much money, like and that was, however you want to put it, but maybe you didn't have that experience, but maybe they can see that experience through somebody else's eyes, and that will help them kind of see. Because I think seeing an example like that is a lot easier than trying to kind of explain it. You know what I mean? Like saying this is what came out of it versus like this is how you get there. Like this is the result versus this is the journey. And I think that is helpful whenever you're selling in the fundraisers. And then just like recruiting, we can't make it about, it's not about us. It's completely about them. And then find out what their why is. Like find out, like, are you looking to go to camp? Are you looking for new uniforms? What is it? The other thing is like, do you see people like on the side of the road doing those bake sales or like out there washing cars? Like go and get your car washed. And then while you're getting your car washed, talk, ask around, find out who the coordinator of this thing is and show them a better way. Because nobody's going to make as much money on a silly car wash as they're going to make with a Scentsy fundraiser. And then also just knowing your points of why a fundraiser is better than your other options out there. I mean, obviously the percentage is really great, but also ethically it's a good choice because one, you're not feeding the sugar addiction, or you're not putting fire in somebody's home. You're not having a safety hazard. You don't have to feel uncomfortable about like, okay, well, just be careful because this could hurt somebody, so the safety and the quality are really big. And then just the options that we have for all of the different lifestyles and age groups and, females and males. Like we just have a big wide open market. So it's a really perfect choice for a fundraiser. And I think once we realize that, like, there's really, honestly, like if you honestly like think about it, like there really is no better option out there. Like 25% on a product everybody loves, that has safety and quality, like backing it, that is a product that literally anybody can purchase or gift. Like it's just ideal. And so I think feeling that, knowing that, and then your first question was your first question?
Choosing between full catalog or scent circle or buddy clip.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in on this one. I think it's just like the burning question that everybody has. It's like, I don't know what to do. I think, and I don't have an answer for it. I don't think anybody has a black and white answer for it. Fallon, did I see any, like, Ariel, did somebody have anybody have any thoughts?
All I was going to say is that offering the entire catalog, there's a bigger possible payout than trying to get people and convince them that they need scent circles or buddy clips. That's a very specific market. Some people are set in their ways. They like their trees. They don't know the blissfulness that is Scentsy yet. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And it's a smaller profit. So, you can do the thing where you tack on $5, but what we ran into, Sabrina and I, when we went to a school, is somebody opposed us when we offered to do a fundraiser because we tacked on that extra. Like, well, I could just go to my own Scentsy lady. So we faced opposition, whereas the other way, when you're offering the full catalog, they have the option of getting the bigger, warmers, getting their own waxes, choosing exactly what they want. And then the payout is bigger for the school as well. So that's just my opinion. And I don't think I will be doing scent circles or buddy clips when I go to my fundraisers in Virginia.
I like that. I don't want to necessarily say this out loud, but I don't necessarily want scent circles to be the gateway into Scentsy for people that have never tried Scentsy before, right? Like, I don't,
because we all know washer whiffs are the gateway.
Right. Right. The gateway drug to Scentsy is definitely the whiff. So if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do a whiff fundraiser. So that's my thought on the scent circles. And how I sort of combat and kind of come in between is that bundle idea, to where you know, it can be overwhelming, this big catalog, but the showcase for sure helps to whittle that down a little bit, and then giving them some suggested bundles that are named something cute and funny that are, you know, geared towards that organization, I think is really helpful, in a way to kind of come in and marry those two a little bit, kind of meets in the middle. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I think Fallon had some really great experiential information too. Did that help, Iris?
I will say, so I am going to be on a mission because when I get to Virginia, my game plan is expansion ASAP. And so I'm going to be essentially, you know, I'm not a fan of cold calling in the sense that, you know, you approach people without them knowing anything about you. However, in the sense of schools, I don't think you can cold call. So what I plan on doing is going to every elementary school and approaching them about the idea of fundraisers, simply by walking into their office and being like, hi guys, I'm new here. I love to host fundraisers for schools, and I was wondering if I could get the number for your PTA board so that I could talk to them and see if I could get something going for you guys. And that's just a simple, easy, like, blurt that you can just, I mean, think of it like if you approach 50 schools, even if 20 of them are like, meh, you know, maybe, but if you get those 10 or 20 of them that are like, yeah, we'd like to talk to you, that's the goal. So I'm not even worried if I get shot down at all, but then maybe in the future when they do need fundraisers, I can come back and be like, yeah, well, I came back, and kind of build a repertoire, because I don't have time to build that. So that's kind of the approach that I'm going in with. Obviously I'll let you know how that goes, but but that's kind of my game plan, because I don't think when you approach a fundraiser, especially, you don't necessarily have to have an in. You just have to have the heart and to know that you want to help them as much as possible. And then when they feel that, they'll be like, yeah, totally. So 2 approaches also, if you haven't looked into bingo fundraisers, it is the bee's knees, and I totally recommend going and looking into it. It's genius, and it allows you to kind of put your foot in the door to do another fundraiser for them. So what I plan on doing, since it's the end of the school year, is saying, hey guys, I want to do a fundraiser for you that is a roughly 2 or 3 day fundraiser, one night where everybody comes in, and that's the night where we'll make the money, and then you can have the money the 10th of the next month. That way it's quick money, because a lot of the time these fundraisers take weeks, whereas if you propose something that is a one night quick ready to go kind of thing, they're going to be way more pumped about it, and especially needing those funds at the end of the year, because sometimes they don't even have money to hit the end of the year. So that's kind of my approach walking into this for Virginia.
You know, something that's really good about that too is that schools have rules that they have to follow, right? So if Fallon comes in and says, hey, I want to do a Scentsy fundraiser to the PTA president, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that right now, then if in a month another Scentsy person comes in and says, hey, we want to do a fundraiser, they can't say, they shouldn't really say yes to that person because they said no to Fallon, right? They can't pick and choose. Like if they're going to do a Scentsy fundraiser, then it's like whoever kind of is on the, like whoever asked first, because it's kind of, they have to follow those rules. They have to be really careful about those things. So you plant that seed and you're like, they're kind of stuck with you. I feel like that may always be the case, but it's something to certainly consider, especially in an environment like a school where they're real careful about that kind of stuff. What else? Any other?
I have a question.
Super pumped. Oh, Ashley.
Yes, I'm actually doing a fundraiser right now, but it's like a super small scale one for like one person. She is actually a teacher too that I went to high school with. Like we're the same age. That made it sound like she's a teacher. Not my teacher. We're the same age. We went to high school together. She lives in Georgia, but her church choir just got invited to go to Carnegie Hall. And she's a teacher, so she doesn't have the money. So I offered to do a fundraiser for her to help her raise the money so she can actually go to the Carnegie Hall event. But things are really slow in her event, and I've tried to give her like a few tips, but I really don't know how to help her maximize.
What about her choir? What about doing one for the whole choir?
I can ask her, but I don't know if, I don't know. I'll ask her.
I mean, you ask her that because you could even send her a pack of catalogs and a pack of order forms that she could pass out to, or not catalogs, you'd probably want to just do the showcase brochures, but you could send that directly to her. She can just distribute it 3 or 4 or whatever to each person of the choir. Oh, poor baby. Yeah. And then that could be a way for her to raise money as well in doing that. And then you could incentivize with, when you get to certain levels, just using the hostess rewards to give the kids whatever and just send it straight to her.
I just sent her at the end of last week. I sent her some catalogs. I sent her a variety just in case, because she's busy. So I know that she may only be able to hand one thing off to somebody. So I gave her some product sheets, like the one with everything on both sides, and then some showcase brochures and some regular catalogs. Yes, I gave her all 3. Like I gave her like 4 of each one just to start, and I said, if you need more, let me know and I'll send them. Because I don't think everyone that she's trying to get to help her is like near her. I think she has people kind of all over.
What age group? Sorry, Ariel. Just what age group is it, Ashley, of the kids?
Well, no, I think it's like, no, it's not kids. It's just like her church choir, like they're adults.
Oh, it's her church.
Okay, so it's a church choir. So my suggestion would be, if you can get everybody on board to do a whole choir fundraiser. Then if they have like a coffee hour, they can set up a table at coffee hour or before the service starts, to get maybe the whole congregation on board, because that's a huge deal to be sent to Carnegie Hall. Yeah. So if they get the whole congregation involved, that could be a bigger deal, and you could just have it be a direct ship order if she doesn't want to have to deal with passing out the orders. It could be just a direct ship. Here's the link. You shop. You have through X and Y date. You shop, and then I send you the check on the 10th of the next month. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might be a better way to, because it's a whole community event with the choir going to Carnegie Hall. It's not just her, so that might reach more people, and more people might be willing to participate because of that.
Also, it's a big advertising thing, like to be able to say, like, as a church, like our choir went to Carnegie Hall, like that's actually a really big advertising thing that they'll probably use in the future. So it actually makes a lot of sense for the community to be involved in an event like, or a fundraiser like this.
And if they have a church bulletin that goes in their weekly program, they might be able to print. Also, don't forget about our Scentsy fundraiser. Contact so-and-so for more information, or just give them a direct, like a custom bit.ly link or something to the party open on the website. That's another idea, having that in the program. Then people take that home, and it's in front of their faces more.
Can we talk numbers? What is the goal for each person to, what are you trying to raise for her to go?
For her to go, I think she needs like 1,400, I think, for her. And so I'm not sure. I think that's the number for each person that they would have to go. Okay. I can ask her, because I'm not sure how big the choir is.
Well, that's an obviously an enormous amount. So, even if they can get a third of that, on her income or whatever, like that's got to be helpful. That's got to be helpful. Fallon, were you crunching numbers or just thinking about?
Oh yeah, no, I was just looking at, how much she would need to have PRV wise for that. So, cause it's nice to be able to do the entire choir, but then it would come down to how would you break it down to, if each person, would you split it evenly and everybody would get a portion? Because I know your goal is obviously to get her there, and so that makes it a little difficult. So I was running to think how it would be most efficient.
Well, and that could be how Mandy does her fundraisers, should you want to go this far, or if you just want to scale it back to the one gal. Mandy does her fundraisers. Did you already talk about this?
No.
For teams. And so each player is in charge of collecting their own orders, and then they get the commission back from whatever they collect personally. So it's not split evenly. It's, okay, you're putting the effort in, you're getting the orders, you get X back because you got those orders. So you could do it that way too. So if not the whole choir wants to do it, but maybe they have the congregational support, I don't know, you can figure that out. And whoever buys from the congregation could be divided, go into just the whole pool for the choir. But if there's more than one person who wants to participate, then that could be another way to raise more funds.
Also on a smaller scale, something that I found success when I did a smaller fundraiser was creating a bundle specific to that person, more, that organization for her. So maybe choosing a couple things that you guys could talk about, like her taste or whatever, or even, I think we have a warmer that has a cross on it still.
Yeah, the antique cross, the white one.
Yeah, because that might be nice to just go ahead and pre-bundle it, because like Kande was saying earlier, people would rather go A versus, okay, let me look through all of this and decide, because everybody knows that's a little bit more work on their end and they don't necessarily like doing that. So maybe creating your own bundle. I made a graphic for it and I posted that into the event, and 3 or 4, I created 3 bundles, made sure to have one that had a higher ticket price, which was my diffuser, which I called Be the Light, which is like a nice little way to, be the light. And then I had 2 other ones. One was a smaller one just for people who would just want a warmer and maybe 3 bars. And then the other one was 2 warmers and 6 bars, basically just redoing our bundles. But also you could go ahead and not do the bundle price as well to make more for them if you wanted to. But I think it's nice to just have it personalized so people could just be like, I want that one or that one or that one.
Yeah, so we have the Antique Cross, we've got Believe, we've got Lace and Hope. Those would all be awesome if you wanted to do a couple different tiers, and then you could obviously do a diffuser if you want. Because those names are fantastic. And like Awaken, Reflect, Enliven, those are great. Like if you're keeping it centered around belief, that could be a really cool way to do it.
I like the idea of doing bundles because I know I choose C, which is like a teacher joke about standardized testing and how all kids just choose C. They always just go, I choose C. Why? I don't know.
I was actually
we're laughing, but it's the reality of my life. Like they're just like, I picked C. Why? I don't know.
There's actually a study done on that. The third option, usually people choose the third option. No idea why, but if you have 3 options, you choose, or even 4 options, they will always choose the third one if they don't know, if they can't decide.
So that's pretty much that's where we're at right now. Is we're trying to get the.
Oh, I thought some husband had something to say about it. I was excited.
Pair of upstairs. I still got a couple more outlets I want to run, and then I can switch it.
Nope.
Right. So anyway, another one is also the Believe in Your Dream. And if this is a dream of theirs to go to Carnegie Hall, that would be a really cool one to gear. And you can also use, you can have them choose whatever bars they want, or you can find names that go with that. I don't know if there's any right now that are really fitting for this kind of event, but you could say Believe in Your Dreams in 3 bars. Or just the Believe in Your Dreams bundle.
There's a lot of those, like the Dream Big or like the Chasing Fireflies.
Yes.
Kande, you're host, right? Can you mute him?
Yeah, I gotta do the roof. That's the main thing. Like I'm not doing the whole house.
Robin, can you mute your microphone? Okay.
There we go. I couldn't hear. Sorry.
I was saying a lot of important things, so you missed out.
I know. I saw your mouth.
First of all, it was just very choppy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also Charity. Forgot about Charity. The other cross warmer.
There's so many good ones, so.
There is a lot of them. I didn't think about the wording, the names of the diffusers, though, Ariel. That's a good call. I like that. So, yeah. Here you go. Some, crowdsourcing brainstorming there for you.
Katie had some, what did Katie do? I vaguely remember she had some cool stuff that she did, and we haven't talked about it yet.
It was a Beagle fundraiser. Yeah, I know. I have a beagle, so I follow this group. It's DFW Beagle Buddies, and they foster beagle puppies or beagles. And I just messaged her and I was like, "Hey, I have a beagle. I'd love to do a fundraiser for you." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I love Scentsy." And she posted on her page, her group page about it, and I got like $800 in PRV. So
I will tell you right now. So one of my BFF Scentsy gals, who is one of my Scentsy squirrels, she has a famous pug. I'm not even kidding you. On Instagram, yeah, her pug is a talking pug, and she gets like 5,000 PRV because people love their pets, y'all. People love their pets, so they follow her, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna buy from her owner, and they will like literally every single month. So it's amazing to see how much people just that's a great thing to help out is all the dog lovers.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna need Scentsy to make some dog shampoo because I have 7 dogs.
I know, right?
I have 7 dogs, and like, can they please smell like Luna? I think they smell like Luna.
What was this, Candy? I don't like secrets.
I don't want any secrets.
I don't know anything.
That was totally secret squirrel there, Candy. Come on. Don't hide behind Oakley.
Cute. Cute. I've had this thing for like a year and it still smells.
The Lenny I got from Ariel, who hosted my party, geez, when was that? October of last year? Was it? She's going to go look.
What are you talking about?
The Lenny that I bought from you, the Lenny Buddy
Oh,
clip.
the Lenny. I thought you said the lady, and I'm like...
Lady. Yeah. Still potent as ever, though. It's incredible.
Yes.
Somebody said something, Ariel, I think, and it reminded me, I forgot to say, I am setting up a table at MDO on next Tuesday, that the same day that we're giving out all of the packets. So that way I can get in front of all of the moms. I'll have samples, extra samples for everybody. I'll have some of our best sellers displayed. I will have, I'm going to have donuts on the table. Donuts is another thing.
Yes, good call.
For MDO mamas. So I can get in front of them a little bit more that way too. And my coordinator, the one that's the head of the MDO school, she is like already talking to the teachers about it. And so I'm hoping that it'll be a good turnout. I need a good fundraiser.
Me too.
Right now.
Reaching for the beach, clawing, and
take me to Mexico, kiddos.
Right. Well, and it's going to be interesting because I'm definitely going to write down everything that I do so that it'll be replicatable if it turns out well. And I'll let you guys know how many schools I approach and like what happens with each one and how we run it. I think I'm definitely going to approach with the bingo method and then move into the other. So it might take a couple months to get all that info, but
yeah. And one other thing, especially in, a lot of you know this, but people that are watching the replay too, I didn't have some like epic, beautiful, like designed letter that I sent to the most perfect person. No, one of Scarlett's teachers wanted a freaking light bulb, pretty much. And with her light bulb and 1 cent pack, I gave her like a ton of samples and said, hey, pay it forward, give it to anybody who wants. And so she gave samples out. And then later that day, I called the school asking them a question, and she answered. She's like, oh my gosh, you're the Scentsy lady. I love this black raspberry vanilla that you gave me. And I was like, yeah, she was talking about order. Then I was like, I would love to do a fundraiser for the school. I would do 25% of everything. And she was like, okay, that sounds awesome. So it's not like they don't think like you have to do this big epic plan and people get caught up in all of this stuff. Like, just get started. Just do something. Just ask somebody. Just find out a name. And sometimes it's even better than some big drawn out thing. It's just like if you're going to go buy, say, a used car, and somebody gives you this whole huge like spiel about it versus just, you know, I don't know if that was a good analogy, but I think of it like if somebody's, I always use the used car salesman because if you say more than 2 sentences, like in a private message, like people don't read it, and it's because they just see it as like the used car salesman.
Spam, 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 spam.
Right. So it's the same kind of thing. If you like, hey, here's my like 3-page fundraising packet idea. Here you go. Then it probably is going to get less attention than if you're just like, hey, I'd love to do a fundraiser, raise some money for the kids. I'll give you 100% of my commission. Like, okay, well, yeah, let's talk about that. And then you can go and give them more details and plans and stuff and work. And you know, I think at that point you can work with them too. Like, so with her, we've been like almost it's felt like it's almost in tandem, like working back and forth. And so usually I'm the like planner. I'm like, let me create a whole master like plan of how this will play out 5 years from now. I'm usually that person. Shut up.
Sorry.
You're supposed to be on mute. Sometimes it's good when people know you for a long time, and sometimes maybe it's not. But instead this time it was like, because it happened so fast, then I just like kind of give her some information pieces at a time. And then she asked me a question today about incentives, and then I pop back with her. So it's almost like we're creating this together, which I think makes her be more involved with it. So I'm excited to see how this one plays out. So I'll let y'all know. I'll delete this whole thing if I get like 0 orders.
Really good idea. Yeah, delete all the gold we had in here.
Delete the whole recording. It's
fine. It's rude, but it's fine.
Just kidding. Just kidding. There was lots of good information. I learned some good stuff. Has anybody else done does anybody else have any other tips that they've done in fundraisers, like little bitty things? Anything that is like, oh gosh, what if I would have thought about that? No?
Make sure it's not a Title I school before you pitch them.
Why is that specific?
What is that?
Because it's a low income school.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think that's the issue I had too.
Yeah.
And going back to the demographics, what I didn't realize about, and the reason I keep mentioning demographics, a lot of the kids there are foster children or they are homeless children in that school. So they're not going to have anybody to help them anyway. They're not getting the support at home that they need in general. So, right. Yeah. So knowing the demographics, that will affect how you go into a fundraiser if you do it all, or how much work you put into it if it's 20 hours and 6,000 packets. As an example.
I don't know how long ago that was, but I was telling her the other day. I still remember that exact phone call. I remember where I was. I remember everything about it.
It was probably 11 months, if we're being honest.
Face. She's not bitter about it at all.
Not.
You were so close to director that month, too.
Dude, I made director anyway. That's the month I made director without that stupid thing happening.
I thought that was the month before.
Negative. That's when I booked it, but we had planned it for April. So I didn't need that fundraiser. I wanted it, but I didn't need it.
I love that 3 of us all just did the psh at the same time.
You get it. You get me.
Ariel, you're about to have your 1-year director centiversary.
Shippiness. Yeah. April 30th, I think, is the.
Yeah, we'll have to bump our live that we did when we announced it to everybody.
When I got fancy, my ladies were like, I hope no dudes.
That was the morning, like Sunday morning. No. Not
Oh my God, that's when you were trying out your new backdrop of your curtains, wasn't it?
No,
Is
it's
that
like
you had curtains?
Like
Oh, that was just because it was in my bedroom, and we just didn't have curtains that fit because we came from Korea, and we didn't have things that fit our current house, and it was a rental, so we didn't really give an F anyway. So it was a really pretty, and we actually still have those curtains in our bedroom now because we bought rods, really good quality rods, so the curtains will come later.
I love it. I like your current setup though. Your new backdrop behind you. There. Yeah.
Thank you. I redid it. So let me show you. I redid it the other day because I had something and it was precarious. And so it's more aesthetically pleasing now anyway because it's more even.
Yeah.
It looks better when not everything is on, but
that triangle.
It's aesthetic anyway.
Always the triangle.
So anyway, if you didn't get to World Tour and you haven't bought these display stands yet, do it. They're phenomenal. It's such a good investment.
So nice. Ignore the rest of my room.
I will not ignore it. I will judge you.
Oh yeah. Ready for some ponies.
I think mine's over there somewhere. I need to pull mine out. I forgot about them, kind of.
I mean, you have like the perfect display anyway, so like whatever.
True.
I need to update some warmers probably. I'm never going to take
out. Actually, yeah, if you could do that tonight, that would be great.
I'm never going to take out the camper. Freaking love it. Have y'all seen this one in person?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's just.
I mean, a World Tour.
Oh my god.
I love that.
Isn't it gorgeous?
That's gorgeous.
It feels,
There's Bianca. There she is.
It feels and looks like real tile. Like, absolutely.
I have the plug-in. I want that.
Well, I'm glad I sold a warmer tonight. Look at me.
So, a tip for anybody who goes to like the next world tours. I did not think to sit there and actually like play with the warmers. So when everybody was getting videos of like spinning the globe and like my customers like, oh, so can you spin it? I was like, I think so. Because I didn't think to play with them. I don't know. I was like, oh, this is for looking only.
We made the mistake of starting to look at that stuff before the coffee run, and that was literally all I could think about was going to Starbucks.
Coffee.
I told you our nightmare, right, Katie? Katie's son. They would not let us have any food or drink whatsoever in the stupid stand, and everybody was dying. Like we didn't have anything to drink. Everybody was dying in the afternoon, dying.
We took the scenic route to the hotel. You know, through the alley where all the workers are dumping everything and
all the garbage bins.
Yeah. So we didn't know where Starbucks was. So we all had to go sign in. And then like two of us went to go do a total coffee run for everyone. And it was literally like right next to the door that we came in.
We all had everybody had their little coffee. Like we're all ready to go into our world tour. And there's this long line to get into the Dallas Cowboys stadium. And then the closer that you got, like the more of this like feeling you got something was wrong. Something's not right up there. Something's wrong. And then you see Starbucks cups one after another going into the trash because before you go through security, you had to trash them. So it was like guzzling hot coffee.
I think I would have stayed out there until I finished my coffee.
It was freezing and the line was really long. So by the time you got in the front, you were like, I'm not getting back in the line. So yeah. And it was Dallas, you know, so to get to Starbucks and to get to World Tour on time already was a feat. So most of the people were getting there at the same time, ready to get in. So anyway, I'm a little bitter about that. I think I brought that up like 3 times.
Everything was great in Lubbock. I'm just saying. Lubbock was fantastic.
Vegas was pretty awesome.
I think it's just because it was the Cowboy Stadium. It was Jerry's World. Yeah. He's trying to make us not have coffee. And then wants us to pay $5 for coffee there.
And then Sue paid $5 for yogurt this big.
I mean, it was $6 for a bottle of water at Starbucks in Vegas.
Wow. But it's Starbucks water. I mean, it's better.
It tastes better, obviously.
Yeah.
Not.
And they wouldn't let
We
you
are prepared this time, though. I'm ready. I'm going to print full maps of where the Starbucks is, where we're staying for our hotel. We're going to know that we're not going to be near the dumpsters.
In Anaheim?
This next time at reunion.
Yeah. I know where the Starbucks are in, so we're good there.
Pin drop.
Anaheim is going to be fun, but man, Kansas City, I don't know if much will top that.
I know, because there are like no really good Airbnbs in Anaheim.
No.
So maybe wherever it is next year, we can do another Airbnb, because that was seriously phenomenal in Kansas City. We were in this really amazing place that had a speakeasy in the basement, and the owner was a total tool, but that's a different story. It was wonderful, though, being able to stay together and like be a family. So,
we're rooming together for reunion.
So
hey, Candy, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you girls know that my ride home from Barksdale to where I live is 2.5 hours. And you
yes,
girls
girl.
You are keeping me entertained. Something terrible. I'm loving it.
Bianca, we are happy to help you.
I'll give you some more entertaining. So there's this, many of you know, there is this thing. There's got to be a term for it, but Fallon so eloquently called it yesterday the deployment curse. And it's a real thing. I cannot even tell you all of the things that have happened in
Your sink busted, your DVD player was gone, you guys have been sick.
Exterminator.
Yeah.
Mouse ran up my ankle today in my kitchen.
Tornado watch.
Yes, tornado. Yeah, and my water stopped working, and had to get the whole entire faucet replaced. Exterminator has to come twice. I had to drive all my kids to Texas, and my brand new freaking Yukon. Do I have a Yukon or a Tahoe? I don't remember.
I think it's a Yukon.
No, I think it's a Tahoe.
Wait, you had a Denali in Korea?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I had an Acadia.
Acadia, that's what I said. You guys heard it.
I never remember if I have a Yukon or a Tahoe. I have one of them, and it's new, and the DVD player does not work in it.
BRB, talking candy.
But guess when it stopped working? As I was starting to drive freaking 8 hours with 3 kids under 6 by myself.
That sounds awful.
That is awful.
What? And so, it's like, I don't understand why that happens. It's so
How many songs did you have to sing?
Do what?
How many songs did you have to sing on that trip?
So my kids have the Greatest Showman soundtrack memorized. So
yes, they do.
Good.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my God, by that reaction, I don't want to say that I haven't either.
I cannot with you two.
I've seen it in the theater 4 times.
How did you watch it though? Because there's no such thing as date nights for us. So
you want to know the last movie I watched? Coco.
So my kids have MDO 1 day a week on Friday. So I've gone 2 of those Fridays, and then we had 1 date night before Owen left where we watched it, or date day. I don't know. My 1 day a week.
I'm so excited to move back to Virginia just for date nights. That's it.
Yeah, we have to drive to Georgia for to leave for the cruise so we can drop the kids off. So I feel your pain. I'm going to be driving 29 hours with 2 kids by myself.
Oh my goodness.
Candy, you have a Tahoe. It's a beautiful creamish beige-ish color.
Hey,
You're welcome.
Ariel's doing research.
I really love it.
Except for the broken pieces.
Yes, except for the broken pieces. Like, that's the only thing I need. Like, turn off my cruise control. That's fine. But don't take away the DVD player. That's just mean.
Very.
Just mean.
No, cruise control sucks pretty bad.
You know it does. It's kind of nice to have the one that's got all the things to it, like the LX, so it has all the the weird things to it. Like today, it completely slammed on its own brakes because somebody stopped in front of us. Like it does all of those, like it does things by itself like that. That's crazy. And so it has the I forgot what it's called, the cruise control that cruise control that
it judges the cars in front of you.
Yeah, so like if somebody's slowing down, then it slows my cruise control down, but once they get out of the way, it gets me back up to my thing. Adaptive cruise control, so you never have to like put your foot. Oh, that's the other thing. I got a boot yesterday for my foot, people. That's another
what?
Thing. Yeah.
Plantar fasciitis.
I have a torn ligament or tendon probably, or plantar fasciitis. One of those are probably torn, so I have to go to a podiatrist. That happened the second day Owen was gone.
Do you have a bubble by chance?
I need a bubble. A deployment bubble.
We need to have Operation like Protect Candy
at least
for the next.
Girl, it's not in the hospital this time, so I'll take all the other stuff, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? That's the silver lining, my friend.
I can change my route to Georgia on I-40 so I can come stop in and make sure you're doing okay.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Just relieve her, let her go to coffee by herself.
Yeah. I'll have
say hi. Just bye, Candy. Go to coffee.
I'll
4 kids on your own.
Kids. I'm like, it's okay. You know what? Go get a hotel for the night. I'll stay, and then the next day I'll take off, and then I don't have to
take her up on it.
Isn't that all that we need, like as moms, just anyway? Like, just like don't ask me like if you ever need anything. Like, no, just come and say, listen up. You go. I'm staying here. No questions.
You know, what's funny about you girls' conversation is you guys are having the conversation about your kids that I have about my grandchildren. So you guys your children are the same age as my grandchildren. So that's really, really kind of weird.
You're wiser. You're wiser than us all. You have
that's the one.
Yeah, you're wiser than all of us.
I'll take it.
I don't have any kids yet, so
keep it that way as long as you can.
Brenda's how old are your kids, Brenda? She's working on it. Here, I'll unmute you.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've got grandchildren too.
How old are they? They're older.
My grandchildren are 2 and 8, and my children are 21, 23, and 28.
Yay! See, Bianca.
Yeah, no way, Sam.
Right there with me. I have a 35-year-old, a 26-year-old, a 25-year-old, and then my 6 grandchildren are between 1 and 6.
I sure hope I look as good as both of you, because you do not look good.
I mean, seriously.
I tell you what, like you never stop doing things for them. I've spent the last week going and looking at houses and pieces of land with my middle child because he's decided to sell his house and buy another one. And so I felt like I haven't slept at all because we've been trundling all around the place looking at all these houses and trying to figure out how he's going to pay for them.
That's a pretty important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it is really, especially when you're getting up into the kind of $400,000.
Oh my gosh.
I told my son that when he turns 18, he's getting the boot.
Speaking of buying a house, watching Allison Dalkey's video the other night, y'all, I now have a goal to build a house. Yeah, because I'm like, she has the dreaming. She was talking about dreaming.
Yeah.
She has a huge dream to have a house that people come to visit and rest. And I'm like, I am about that life. Like, that is an amazing, incredible. So now I've told Sean, I've sat him down and I'm like, this is definitely what I want to put on our list for our long-term girl.
And you know what? I'll be a guest.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm down. I'm down.
I mean, I'm going to be a guest in whatever house you're in, Fountainland, so.
You're just going to visit anyways.
Yep.
Allison's about 30 minutes from me, and I'm like, yep, I'll be there. I need to rest. Can I be invited?
You deserve it.
Hey, Allison, can the Fireflies use your house as a as a rest spot?
I thought for the longest time she was our up line. And so last year, something at leadership, I was talking with Brian, and he was like, who's your up line? And I was like, y'all are. And then he told Allison. Allison's like, no, you would have heard from me. And I was like, but I'm pretty sure. She's like, no, you would have heard from me. And so, yeah, sure enough, like, I thought for like, I don't know, somebody told me she was my up line. I think Jason told me one time.
What a liar.
So, yeah.
Got your hopes up.
Like, I thought I had these amazing jeans from Allison. No, I have no Allison jeans.
No. You're just lucky, I guess.
No Docky jeans, unfortunately.
Also, big shout out to how huge our team is. I just saw a friend who is not in our downline at all, and she got a congratulations being number 1 out of 30. And I just kept thinking how awesome it is, like, when I get, like, a postcard from Candy that says, you were number 2 out of 354. I feel like it sounds a lot better than out of 30.
But, dude, still being in the tops of whatever team is such a big deal.
Oh, yeah, and I totally, like, I loved it, and I talk to her about it all the time. It just feels a lot better to be those numbers out of a large team.
How many people does Allison Dowkey have on her team or in her group?
180 million.
More consultants than there are.
Ariel, in that AHA question in our back end group, she answered that. I think it's 6,000.
Holy crap!
That's nothing. How many does Becca has 50,000, 40,000. Becky Priest, which is our great grandma, has 40,000 in her group, which means she has half of all Scentsy consultants. Yeah. She was the one that did the AHA. She did the AHA moment. She was the one. I don't know if you remember seeing it on the that last AHA. She gave the talk where she was super vulnerable. Like, she tried to commit suicide on the way to a Scentsy party, vulnerable. Like, real stuff. But yeah, she has 40,000 on her team.
That was one of the best ahas that I could have watched. It was a good one. It was intense, but it was good. It
was so intense. And you just don't think Allison can get, like, pull just more, and it's like she almost planned to be in, like, her dark card. It made it even better.
7,500 consultants.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know what?
Any other things I can Google or Facebook stalk? I'm a detective.
I think what I always find fascinating about that is, so Allison, the Dockies just hit their 10-year, right? Well, there's a lot of people that just hit their 10-year that have less, that has less than 500. And it's like, I think it's not luck is what I'm getting at. Like, it's because she's consistently worked her business. It's because she continuously feeds into the Scentsy community, which always comes back to you in dividends. And I think something about that is almost as inspiring as anything that she says,
when I did my talk on the D group, like that's kind of what I was getting at. If you watch a lot of Allison, you just see and feel the belief fully coming from her. And I think that's also what attributes to her success, because you don't often get to see the vulnerability that she has and the full-on belief that she's willing to bear and show you guys and like talk about her dreams. Like you don't get that from a lot of leaders. So I think that definitely contributes to it. And it trickles down. I always talk about the trickle down, like from your culture in our group, just talking about our group, having your culture affect Ariel, affect me, affect Sue, like it just goes through all of our teams. And I think that's where the next Allison Dowkey team, you know what I mean? Yeah. The next 8,000.
So you don't need their genes. You have your own.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, how many people can be like, oh, I'm, my SD is Candy. She's the person that, the brain behind the aha moment. Like, not many people get to do that. So
I name drop you as frequently as I can.
I know, same.
Oh, she's my personal sponsor. She's my good friend. She's my mentor. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know that helps in any situation, but
it absolutely helps 100% of the time.
I appreciate y'all making my deployment woes feel better. I see all around that on chat, like, let's all like say something nice about Candy now.
No.
Having her day.
I gotta look at the chat.
Hey, ladies, I lost you guys for a minute. I'm on the highways. I lost you for a minute, but I wanted to chime in on two things. One, I love getting the postcards too. I take my postcards and I put them on what I call my wall of inspiration in my office. So they're patched all over the wall, and whenever I do a video, I always point out, oh, Candy sent me that card, and Candy sent me that card, and Candy sent me that card. So I'm always bragging about Candy's cards too. So they are an inspiration. So I love them too.
I put mine on the fridge next to my kids' artwork because that's like mommy's report card. So
it totally is. That's awesome. If we had magnets, I would. But we have like the stainless steel.
This might seem a little self-serving, but
it does.
Probably especially since I started it that way. But it's like not to be an ass, but it's like, well, you're about to be an ass because you started it that way. But so when your people, your sponsors, your directors, whoever send you those cards, like just say a quick like, hey, I appreciated that or whatnot, because otherwise we just don't know. Like I've gone months of doing those without knowing if anybody cared at all. And then I hear something like that, and I'm like I have no idea. I mean, that's just like, that is the stuff that inspires me, because I'm going to get like, I'm going to say more than I probably should, but like, I don't have a lot of that coming this way, right? From up above. So to hear that y'all love those, just to see your spread like that.
I think that's all of them.
To see that y'all are appreciative that you're appreciated and know that you're appreciated is gives me life. It gives me it invigorates me. It helps me be a better leader. So just tell your people, like, just tell the people you appreciate being appreciated, so they know that you're appreciated, that you appreciate it, so they appreciate you more. That's all.
And I do a really bad job about shouting people out and showing my appreciation. So my apologies for that, my friends. But obviously, I appreciate yours. So not comparing, not doing whatever. I don't do a great job, and I know my faults. So I'm sorry, but I love you all.
Are you judging yourself, Ariel? Are you judging yourself right now?
No, I'm just prefacing you're probably not going to get postcards from me.
Hey, as long as you have
Ariel,
with me,
even if you don't send a postcard, the one thing I like about you, Ariel, is every single time I post, I think you do at least acknowledge my post. So that's cool. I don't need a card. I love your acknowledging my post all the time.
Oh, you're so sweet. I try to.
And I know you're busy, so that's how much I appreciate it. I know you've got a lot going on, and when I see Candy or Ariel or Samantha or anybody that that regularly hits my post, I'm like, oh my God, look, they hit my post. Don't even let someone call my name out on the video. I'm like, they just called my name. They just called my name.
I get so fangirl with Candy still, even though we have these chats every week, and I feel like we're like BFFs. You can ask Val, and I talk about Candy all the time.
I know, I do too. And you know
She's gonna cry, guys. She's gonna cry. Turn your camera off if you don't want us to see you.
But Candy, what's really funny about it is I was at an event this weekend, and I met another consultant named Connie, and her upline, her sponsor is her sister, who's not active at all, even though she's still a consultant. She doesn't really do the work of business. She has no upline and no downline, so she's kind of out there by herself, and she is just so jealous when I tell her how close our up and down lines are. And she's like, I don't have anything like that, so I'm trying to, develop a relationship with her because we seem to be going to the same places and running into each other. So I'm going to try to, befriend her as another consultant because she doesn't have what we have, and she really, really wishes she had what we have.
That's sad.
And I've said this, my little story about this before. When I chose Fallon to be my sponsor, I lost a friendship over it. And to be honest, having the upline and the support that we do was worth every single bit of it.
Yes.
Every single bit.
It really makes a difference because I'm surprised that Connie does as well as she does, but she's self-motivated. But imagine how much more she could be if she had an upline that encouraged her. She would probably have a downline. She has no one above or below her. And it's because she's just out there all by herself. I mean, her biggest cheerleader is her husband, and he sells wind chimes.
Yeah. Well, and I know.
It's sad, but she's a nice lady.
I know we all wish we could do better, and that's just something that every leader is going to tell you too, that, they could be better in a lot of different capacities. But I think most of us do all that we can do and are happier for your success than we are even for our own. And that's the beautiful thing about this business. And we are very, very blessed and lucky in this group to have it takes all of us, to create our culture. We're really just super lucky to have such a great culture. And it starts with the leaders of the group and everybody that's on these calls.
Sorry, guys, I have to go. Thank you so much for an awesome chat. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Ariel. And Candy, I'm going to say one more thing. I had another potential recruit today. I'm working. And when I was telling her about me and Connie, she's like, well, isn't that competition? I said, oh, no. That's the beauty of Scentsy is that we don't compete with each other. We help build each other up. It's a business that helps everybody answer their why and make their business as successful as possible. And it's not a competition, especially not on my team and not on my group. And it's just like, wow, And so I think that that's going to be part of what brings her over onto my team is knowing that even though we have quite a few consultants on Barksdale Air Force Base, it's not a competition. We all work together to make everyone a success.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the culture does start from Heidi and Orville. Like that's really where this culture starts. Any organization, it's going to start at the very top and have that trickle down effect again. So, I mean, you can't say anything bad about those two. So,
no, absolutely not.
Well, with that, that's a really good note to end on.
Yes, ma'am. I've enjoyed it. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. You be safe on the road.
Yeah,
yes,
that
ma'am.
Can be tear up.
I know.
Thanks. All right. Y'all
All right,
have a good night.
Maybe next time I can actually talk to you guys on video.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.